I posted a response to Kurt's video on centering a few days ago, and I've been pondering myself some other patterns that fit in with that potentially. It relates to animal development, human development, and these sorts of things. A lot of it has to do with Wilberian ideas, but it's not strictly Wilberian, because I think some of this stuff maybe not, Wilber might not agree with necessarily. So Wilber has these 4 quadrants, and he says that to properly understand what postmodernism is, or what sort of interobjectivity actually means, systems theory, chaos theory, you have to develop to a certain level of consciousness, or by that kind of a certain spectrum of one's awareness has to be present to be able to see it. So if you push this pattern back into the animal domain, and again this is very well fits well with Wilber's thinking, is that animals sort of, or reptilian beings sort of have this, reptiles have an impulsive way of being. That is, it's reactive with its situation. It doesn't seem to have much care or feelings for, as it were, other animals, other beings. Whereas when you get to mammals, there is sort of this sort of empathy, as you might say, because these mammals actually stick around and be with their offspring for some time sometimes. And so there's a development, what Keegan would say, from a first order consciousness maybe to a second order, in a sense, but this is not self-reflexive of that. So this is where the pattern kicks in, because with a human, now you have sort of self-reflexivity, but you're also moving through that same process. You're moving through now a first-person perspective of self-awareness, so that is sort of the red stage of consciousness. A second-person stage of consciousness, which is conventionality, which is dogma of a group, and then a third-person stage of consciousness, which is, in that sense, objectivity, rationality, science. So you might say this is where humans proper kind of end and the new human begins, because this is pushing the pattern of what it means to be human to its limit, in a sense, because we have these 3 brains interacting at the same time. That is the reptilian brain, the mammalian brain, and the neocortex. Now this is where I differ perhaps from spiral dynamics and Wilberian thinking, is that maybe that's the end of what the typical process would be, and now we're entering into the new human, and this is where interobjectivity begins, and this is where you see a lot of notions of transhumanism. Now I'm not behind that totally, because I think that carries with it a lot of kind of other ugliness potentially, because it's flatland, because it's still working on the traditional human, but now it gets this felt sense experience of there's something more. I'm going to pick this up in a moment. I have to do my work, but I'll return.